Hi guys, how are you? We're going through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in 40 days, and we're right on the, looks like the, close to that 40-day mark, so I'm going to try and pick it up a little bit. So we're on Luke 22:25. I'm going to give you 24 also as a review, just so. Also, a dispute arose among them as to which of them was considered to be the greatest. Jesus said to them, "The king of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you shall be like the youngest, the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who is at the table or the one who serves? It is not the one who is at the table, but I among you as one who serves. You are those who have stood by me in my trials, and I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father conferred on you one on me. So you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on my thrones, judged with the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, Satan asks to sift through you, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you turn back, strengthen your brothers." But he replied, "Lord, I am ready to go with you to prison and to death." Jesus answered, "I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times and know that you know me." Then Jesus asked them, When I sent you without purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything?" "Nothing," they answered. He said to them, "But now, if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. It is written, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And I tell you that this must be fulfilled in me. Yes, what is written about me is reaching its fulfillment." The disciples said, "See, Lord, here are 2 swords." "That's enough," he replied. Jesus prays on the Mount of Olives. Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him. On reaching the place where he said to them, "Pray that you will not fall into temptation," he withdrew about a stone's throw away, knelt down, and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not your will, but yours be done. Not my will, but yours be done." An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like blood, drops of blood falling on the ground. When he rose from prayer and went back to the disciples, he found them asleep, exhausted from sorrow. "Why are you sleeping?" he asked them. "Get up, pray, so that you not fall into temptation." Jesus arrested. While he was still speaking to a crowd came up, and the one man who called himself Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus with a kiss. But Jesus asked him, "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?" When Jesus saw what was happening, they said, "Lord, should we strike our swords?" And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. But Jesus answered, "No more of this." And he touched the man's ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests and the officers of the temple guard and the elders, "Who has come for him? I am leading a rebellion that has come with swords and clubs. Every day I was in the temple courts, and you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour, when darkness reigns." Peter disowns Jesus. Then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance, but when they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, "This man was with him." But he denied it. "Woman, I don't know him," he said. said. A little later, someone else saw him and said, "You also are one of them." Man, I am not," Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, "Certainly the fellow with him, for he is a certainly the fellow is with him, for he is a Galilean." Peter replied, "Man, I do not know what you're talking about." Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Peter remembered the word that the Lord had spoken to him. "Before the rooster crows today, you will have disowned me 3 times." And he went outside and wept bitterly. The guards mocked Jesus. The men who were guarding Jesus mocked and beat him. They blindfolded him and demanded, "Prophesy, who hit you? Prophesy, who hit you?" And they said many other insulting things to him. At daybreak, the council of the elders of the people, both the chief priests and the teachers of the law, met together, and Jesus was led before them. "If you are the Christ," they said, "tell us." Jesus answered, "If I tell you, you will not believe me." Verse 68, 22:68. "And if I ask you, you would not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of mighty God." They also asked, "Are you then the Son of God?" He replied, "You are saying it that I say I am." Then they said, "We don't need any more testimony. They have heard it from his own lips." And that was chapter 22, guys. Dealing with chapter 23 and one more chapter. So one more chapter actually when we're into John first. So we'll be going through 23 and 24 actually, a couple more chapters. Both small chapters, 50 in one and 53 in another. Alright? Thanks, have a great day. God bless.